Superheroes are really big right now. Marvel and DC are everywhere.
But there's a new kid in town.
Welcome to the Duality Gamecast, sponsored by Gladiator Games. Today's Battle Royale episode features a review of Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Welcome to the Duality Gamecast. I'm Matt, lifelong gamer, and your host for today.
I'm Dylan, a video gamer.
And I'm William, a game designer. Today we're going to talk about and review the game Sentinels of the Multiverse. This is a game from Greather Games, originally came out in 2011. It's a cooperative game for 3 to 5 players. Each player takes on the role of a superhero to fight the big bad supervillain. Alright, this is a game about comic book superheroes fighting super bad villains, so obviously art is a huge part of this. So let's dive in and talk about the art. It is a very classic, I think, comic book feel. It conveys that. Clearly this is a comic book game. You can't miss it. It's in every bit. The cards show it. If I had any detraction, it would be, I don't think the graphic design of the mechanics are very strong. I don't think they're clean enough. The text sometimes is not real clear. They did kind of a, I guess, italicized style, which I don't like that. But the actual artwork, strong, gives you that theme. I'm good on the art.
I like the art. It's definitely has some comic book roots to it. I like comic books. I've always went to comic books for the stories, not really the art. But I still like the art. There's nothing bad about it, but it's just comic books.
Yeah, it's definitely comic book art. One of the things I like about the art is that when you play the game and you look at different players' cards, you'll see that they've kind of tried to do a comic book story through some of the art. So you'll see people change based on when cards will come out. Some will be younger or less experienced in a different costume, one thing, and eventually it'll be the hardened guy by the end of some set or something. You can see scenes of when one person dramatically died in one person's art that relates to another character's story. So you see a lot of story and crossover in their art. Overall, it is very comic booky. It's improved also through the series too. So you can definitely see that the artist has honed his skill as he's gone along.
Yeah,
like the theme comes through the art. The storylines come through the art. And I think they took it to the next level, right? They made some comic book art or comic book stories behind this. So they know it's a comic book game and it shows in the art. So now let's look at component quality. They've gone through some additions on this game and had expansions for it. The first edition was not the greatest component quality. You had thinner cardstock. You didn't really have inserts. You didn't have tokens or counters per se. Since then, the editions you would buy now, much improved. Higher quality cards, lots of cool little tokens. They got reminder tokens if you're into that. They've got inserts in their boxes. It's a lot improved. I'm pretty happy with the quality of the components now. Nice, funky boxes. What do you think?
Yeah, everything's fine. Nothing special, really. There's just little cardboard pieces. Same with the little reminder tokens. The same thing, like the boxes have improved over the other editions. Like the first edition was just a box, and now they have little slots where you can, put your cards. It's a lot better. It has improved.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's a card game at its heart, so there's not a lot to the components. The only ones I'd say are necessary are probably the hit point ones. There's a lot of reminder chits they give you that I personally haven't used in any of the games I've played. Well, that's not true. I tried to use them once, and it became more troublesome than it was worth. So, but this is a great improvement of the game. Otherwise, great cards. Yeah. All right. Let's look at mechanics. This game, for me, it's very serviceable mechanics. There's nothing uber complicated. There's nothing they gloss over too badly. It works pretty well. The card text rules fit with the theme of the character you're playing, the villain and environment decks that you're up against. Feed the theme. If I had one criticism of mechanics, there have been games where, oh my gosh, as an individual player, there's a fair amount to keep track of what's going on.
maybe we're not doing so good against the villain, and now there's all kinds of tokens everywhere, and you don't always feel like you know the capabilities of your fellow heroes, perhaps. But it moves along. So I'm overall fairly satisfied with the mechanics.
Yeah, the mechanics are fine. It's not unlike anything we've ever seen. I mean, there's different decks that you can get items, and you have your own hero deck where you can use your different moves to try to hurt the villains, or there's little minions, and nothing special. So yeah.
The mechanics are both the strengths and the weakness, I think, of this game. They're the term you like to use a lot. They're fiddly. You get in situations where the order that cards were played can matter. You get in situations where somebody gets +1 fire damage, but then this person turns all damage into electrical damage, and then you have the question of, well, does that +1 because it was fire to start? The rules can get, it's very crunchy for such a light, fun, enjoyable game for me. It's, on the surface, very simple. You sit down, on your turn you can play a card, use a power, draw a card, and then you say go. Yeah. And until it gets around to the villain and the environment, and they basically play a card and stuff happens. Everything's printed. There's not too much surprise. There's not weird abstract rules you have to remember regarding to things. It's all on the cards. But when you have 30 cards laying on the table and they all interact in different ways and change damage types and redirect damage to other players, it becomes really hard to keep track of. I know there's quite a few games that we've won or lost, and I'm pretty sure it should have been the other way because we forgot some rule.
Yeah.
But overall, mechanics serviceable. They're not tight.
One thing I'd ask is, how do you feel about keeping track of the villain powers and the environment effects? You feel like the players can stay on top of that, or we miss things sometimes?
Well, yeah, usually what we play is, when I played my game, so usually we set up that the environment and the villain are right after me. So we go through, I'm usually in charge of that, but everyone else at the table always has to remind me, hey, you forgot about this rule. No, my guy can do this. So it really is a group run, even though it's kind of AI scripted, the way the villains and the environments run. It takes everyone there to kind of control that. And there is ambiguous parts where the game actually tells you, in case of, it says, hit somebody with the most hit points and 2 people are tied, the players get a pick. So there's a lot of times where you get to a situation where it actually is kind of a table vote's choice of how the situation's going to resolve.
Cool.
It's not that hard to remember.
No?
Well, I mean, all the times I've played, I don't really remember having problems, probably because I don't pay attention a lot.
One good advantage with the fiddly bits is it's just pretty simple math.
Yeah.
Add a +1 or -1 or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of little things, but they're not deep, not complex.
Yeah.
So it's got that going for it. So that's mechanics. All right, what matters most? Fun and replayability for any game. So let's talk about that. I, in this group, maybe am the most pessimistic about this game, but I still have fun with it. I get a little bit of a bad rap. It's a fun game, and I'm very picky with co-op games. I don't like co-op games where it feels like really just one player could be playing this game and we could all just watch. You have your own hero deck, and they're all unique. So you feel like you're making your own individual contribution to the effort. There are times when you don't always agree with your fellow superheroes about how to proceed or how to use your powers or how they should use their powers. And I actually think that's okay. I think it makes the game more interesting. It doesn't have that autopilot quality that some co-op games have. And the villains typically, although I guess some people have played a lot more have figured out how to match things up. But for my impression, the villains are typically pretty hard. And I like that. I like a game like this or Ghost Stories where it's hard to win as a group. It keeps you engaged. It makes you want to play it again. So I'm pretty happy with the fun factor. Replayability, because I haven't played every hero or seen every single villain because they have a fair number now. There's definitely replayability there. And if superheroes are your bag, you'll be playing this over and over again.
Okay, look. I know you had fun with it, and you like to play it, but to me, this game is boring. This game is boring. It's not even like, okay. So whenever I play this game, like the first time I played it, I thought it was going to be cool because I like superheroes. I like comic books. But everything about it is just so boring. Yeah, just something like the air of it is just boring. I mean, the components are fine, the art is fine, but the game itself is just boring. Sorry.
That's all right. For me, this game is amazing. Yeah, I think the replayability on it's great because even if you play the same matchup, the same set of heroes, same players, the same villains, you are drawing off of a deck, and so you can get one time where your super strong powerhouse character gets all their attacks out and you're just laying waste of things, and the next time you get all your defensive cards and you're defending everybody else or redirecting damage yourself and kind of saving the team. So I feel that the replayability on it's very high just for that alone, let alone the fact that with the number of villains, environments, and heroes, there's like an infinite number of permutations of matchups you can do, and just changing decks between two people can change how they like to play. I can kind of see what you're saying about the boring because the game is really basically pushing numbers around for a lot. The big core part of it is doing damage to things. So basically you're saying that has 5 hit points, we have to do 5 hit points to kill it. But when it has that comic book layer over it, and the fact that I've read all the backstories of all the heroes and everything, it gives you that feel of like, oh, this is how, Setback is going to do it this way, and it's amusing when he accidentally destroys someone else's stuff in the process because he's like the clumsy hero type of a thing. So for me, tons of replayability.
Cool. All right. All right, so we've looked at different aspects of the game, so now we're going to give our final ratings on this game. We use a simple 4-point system. At the top is must buy, then love it, then like it, and then pass. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to call this a like it. I will play it. I will have fun playing it. I will never suggest that this is the game we play. I'm not going to buy it. Amongst co-op games, I can see I play with groups that have co-op games that are much more engaging to me, much more thrilling, and less fiddly. So this is not my first choice. But it's not a horrible game. I'll play it. I see the tactics, and I can enjoy it for that. And I really appreciate the investment they put in the comic book theme. I really respect that.
Yeah, for me, it's a pass, and it's like
so controversial.
When people want to play this game, I'm just like, I don't want to play that, and it's just I don't have fun anytime I play it. I really don't. But I mean, you can buy it if you want to. I'm not saying I hate it. I don't hate it. I just don't like to play it.
Right. For me, it's a must-buy. I bought everything. I have everything. I'm really sad because they just released a promo at one of the conventions, and I'm not going to be able to get it because you only get it if you play some other game of theirs. And I'm like, oh, I need to get that promo. I want everything. Once again, must-buy because it's amazing. It's the best game ever made. Everyone should own it. It really does give you that comic book feel to me more than any other game. You really do feel like you're the fire god or the superhero or the ninja dark dweller in the night type of a person when you're playing the game, and I feel like that's what you have to get into, the theme and the overall feel of it, more so than looking at it as the raw mechanics.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We've played the DC game, we've played the Marvel Legendary game, both, a fair amount, and we've played this a lot, and if I were going to rank them, this is on top. So if superheroes are your gig, this is probably a must-buy. Any other opinions?
No, I think we're good.
All right, I hope this review helped you guys out a lot. We're going to be doing some more superhero games in the future. So come back, leave your comments below, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more information on the Duality Gamecast or our sponsor, visit us on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for tuning in.
You ready?
I'm so ready.
All right.
Through the mechanics of the game, and it is pretty interesting.
What?
You just Marge Simpsoned at the end.
Damn it.